All right, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. So for this morning's class, you will need a strap, hopefully not a TheraBand, but beggars can't be choosers, and you'll need 2 blocks. Set yourself up with 1 block underneath your bottom and sit back into Virasana Hero's Pose. So when working with the strap, and particularly today, we're going to work our king binds. So if you had a regular yoga strap, you'd have a silver loop on the end of it. So you'll thread this end of the strap through the silver D-ring and make yourself a loop, and depending on how open your shoulders are, will depend how big the loop will be. For sure, make it at least 4 inches big, unless you have a very, very tight king bind. For me, with my fancy TheraBand, I will just tie a knot. And today we'll work with the king binds using the strap. Some of you may or may not need them, but have your strap at the top of your mat. Reach your arms out in front and thread the left arm under for eagle arms. You can gently draw the elbows forward and tuck the low ribs together. So with our back-bended postures, particularly the pretty gnarly ones, what is required is warmth, an open mind, and a lot of courage. Untangle the arms, roll the heads of the humerus back. And then opposite side, elbows out in front, Garudasana, eagle arms, other side. One of the key elements of the back-bended practice is open thighs and hip flexors. And if you love back bends, awesome. If you dislike them, awesome. Untangle the arms, give them a little roll back. And then removing the block from the bottom, tuck your toes and sit back on your feet. You might take the flesh of the buttocks and wrap it around the heels. So in reflexology, the big toe joint is the neck joint, and the neck is another key piece of our back bend. So with the hands on the thighs, puff your chest up like you're trying to crack your clavicle, and then take your eyes up. Pull it through center and round, chin to chest. Come through center, arc up, chest up, eyes up. And then release, using our block or not using a block, come back to Virasana Hero's Pose. Strap or strapless. Reach the right arm up, spin the pinky finger forward, drop your hand. That might be more than enough. Some of you might thread that left arm through, catch the fingers. For a lot of you, I know you're very strong, and strength in the shoulder girdle sometimes inhibits the back bends. And then untangle the arms, give them a little shake. Other side, left arm up, drop it down the back, maybe work there, or thread the arm through, catch the fingers. So for the Ekapada Rajas, the king postures, we'll look at dancer's pose, we'll look at pigeon, we'll look at bow. And then untangle the arms, give the shoulders a little roll back, and then slide into downward dog. Pedaling out the backs of the legs. once comfortable, reach through the arms and set the eyes. Take your eyes forward, step walk, float to the top. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Stand tall, reach high. Release the arms. Intertwine the fingers behind your back. Inhale, look up. And exhale, fold. Release your hands, lengthen. Step walk, float back, and lower all the way to the belly. Bend your right knee, up dog, look to your right. Release. Bend your left knee, up dog, look left. Release your chest, push back, downward dog. Pull the low belly back, reach through all four corners of the feet. So I mean big toe, pinky toe, in edge, out edge. Knit the sitting bones together. Completing your exhale, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Stand up, arms up. Release the arms. Intertwine your fingers, chin up. Fold forward. Release the hands, lengthen. Step, walk, float, lower all the way to the belly. Bend your right knee, up dog, look right. Release. Left leg bends, gaze left. Release the chest, push back, downward dog. A quick little observation of the face. Begin to inhabit your skin like a comfy pair of well-worn jeans. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Stand up, reach up. Release the arms. Last one, intertwine the fingers, chin up. Fold forward, hands spill. Halfway lift, chest up. Step, walk, fly, lower to the belly. Right knee bends, look right. Release. Bend left. Release. Push back, set the posture, downward dog. So if you haven't already begun to activate that lift in the low abdomen, begin to vacuum seal the belly like there is a little corset at the belly button, but all the space in the world for the diaphragm. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Fold. Stand up, reach up. Release the arms. Bending into the knees, Utkatasana. Uttanasana, chest to thighs. Halfway lift. Step, walk, float back, lower. Lift it up, open the chest. Slide it back. Lift your right leg up. Step it through. Arms up. Belly to thigh, arms back. Exalted Warrior. Hands down, step back, low push-up. Lift it open. Slide it back. Left leg lifts. Step it through. Reach up. Belly to thigh. Exalted Warrior. Hands down, elbows tight. Lower all the way to the belly. Right arm makes half an X across the mat. Bend your left knee. Reach back with your left hand and push down on the big toe side of the foot. So when we're working our grip, there is a moment when we froggy the foot like this. Then flip the fingertips if possible to track the toes and work your heel outside your hip. 3. Give me a little more effort. 2. What's the worst that could happen? 1. Release, switch sides, half an X with the left. Bend the right and work the right heel outside the right glute. So there might be all sorts of conversations happening in the hips and the psoas. But greet it with curiosity rather than annoyance. Release the foot, high push-up, downward dog. Firm legs, soft heart. Completing your exhale, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lift your belly, compress, sit low, arms up, stand up. Adding on, Utkatasana. Uttanasana, chest to thighs. Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga Dandasana, fly back to lower. Roll it open, lift the chest. Slide back. The right leg lifts. Step it through. Straight up. Belly to thigh, Exalted Warrior. Listen carefully, hands down, take your right foot, step it behind your left foot, and flip your dog. Feel the pinky toe edge of the left foot anchor. And just for a moment, lower your bottom and then zipper through center. Low push-up. Stretch up. Slide back. Left leg lifts. Step it through. Arms up. Belly to thigh. Exalted Warrior. Listen carefully, hands down. Step your left foot behind your right like side plank. And pelvis up, flipped dog. So the pose seems kind of scary, but when you think about it as just a side plank with a foot down, it becomes more digestible. Just for a moment, tap your hips, and then come through center, lower all the way to the belly. Intertwine the fingers behind the back, lift up, Shalambhasana, locust. Three, 2, 1. Release the chest, high push-up, downward dog. Look at your ankles. Look at your knees. And what have you never noticed about your own physical body? Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Sit on your throne, arms up. Stand tall, adding on, Utkatasana. Uttanasana, chest to thighs. Ardha, lengthen. Step walk, fly back, lower. Drag it open, lift your heart. Slide it back. Lift your right leg up. Step it through. Arms up. Belly to thigh. Exalted Warrior. Hands plant to step the right foot back to flip the dog. And then lower your bottom, Marichi A, face the back, binding around that right knee joint. Strap it up if necessary and press through that ankle bone. We will end up in a gate pose facing the long edge of our mats. I'll cue you there. Rise all the way up. Plant your palms. Take your right knee and point it to the long edge. Plant your left foot, tent the right fingers, left arm up. Plant your right palm, option to stay or bend the left knee and catch your ankle bone in a dancer's bind, a bow pose, an ustrasana. Releasing the foot, hands through center, step back, lower. Drag it open, lift your heart. Slide it back. Left leg up. Stomp it through. Up we go. Belly to thigh. Exalted. Hands down, listen carefully. Left foot steps behind a flipped dog. Lower your bottom and bind around the left knee joint. Marichi A, heart lifts as you fold. So although this is not the exact grip when we're working our kings, it's helpful to understand that when the hands touch, it's a mudra, it's an energetic seal, a lock. We'll end up in gate pose facing the long edge, hands down. Bring your left knee to the earth, press through that right foot, anchor through the left palm, right arm up and over. Yeah. Maybe you stay just the way you are. Maybe you bend that back leg, catch the ankle, dancer's pose from plank, side plank. Release the shape, hands down, and come all the way to the belly. Extend the right arm out to the side, bend the left knee, and roll over right shoulder, right hip. So again, this is not the total ask of the shoulder, but when we're getting into the bind, the arm goes wide like this. You might feel an opening or an extension through the pectoral muscles. Roll back down onto the belly, opposite side, roll over. And you might start to use the muscle of visualization, imagining you're holding on to your foot, and your foot is touching your head. Releasing your chest and push back child's dolphin or pincha. So some of you might drop down onto the forearms, maybe intertwine the fingers, maybe touch the heavens with your feet. Tone the outer glutes, reach up through the legs. But child's pose is a sweet option if that's your choice. Come all the way down and sit back, child's. Take a beat. Downward facing dog, strike back. Lift your right leg up. Step it through and we'll build side angle from the floor up. Drop your back foot. The right foot is at a 90-degree angle. Press your right arm into your right knee, left arm up and over. Eyes down, half moon on that right side, pop up. Frog pose bind with your left foot, maybe. Catch the left toes, maybe flip the toes so they face, your fingers and toes face one another or track one another. Heel outside the hip, 3, 2, 1. Untangle the shape. Meet me in a standing split. Some of you might even like to tick up into a handstand. We'll be here for 2, for 1. And then a big step back. You'll need both your blocks. Drop your back knee. Point your back toe. Catch a hold of the blocks and wiggle the right foot farther forward. So the knee and its ability to hang over the ankle is indicative of a very healthy ankle joint. So often teachers say don't let the knee hang over the ankle. Might be true of alignment, but it's quite healthy in the body. Bring your blocks back by your back thigh and start to lift your chest like we did in the beginning when we were on our toes, ears back. Feel the pinky toe grip to the floor. Keep pulling the chest back, 3, 2, 1. Come forward, runner stretch or Hanuman. Kick your heel down into the floor. You might settle here. So we will work our very first bind from this posture. And to be honest, I think it's the hardest of all the binds, king binds, when you're in a lunge. So why not start out guns a-blazing? Okay, inject your spine with gummy bears. Take a lunge into the front knee and catch a hold of your strap. Have your block on that right side very accessible, very high. You might like the other one in the same height as you might feel tippy. Bend your back leg and hook that little loop around your foot. Keep your hand relatively tight to the knot as you imagine that you're a server, and I just want you to imagine that you're holding a tray full of pints. So hold your tray, keep your elbow very tight to your ribs, and then drop your pelvis, forget about your tray, way, draw the elbow forward and up toward the ceiling. Yeah, nice kitty cat, ears back. Some of you might catch the strap with both the arms. You might see God or your life flash before your eyes. Big full breath, 3, 2, 1. Release your strap, unhook it, have it accessible at the top. And then Ardha Matsyendrasana, walk your foot over to the left side of your mat and pull your right knee in. Lower your bum. Slide the right hand behind the back, hook your elbow, take a sweet twist. So you might already have it in your head that you will never be able to catch your foot. And if that's the case, then it really limits your ability to give your all in a posture. You might stay as you are. Some of you might pick this up into Ekapada Kundinasana B for 3, 2, 1. Release your flight. It's either a vinyasa, a step back, or a headstand vinyasa. You might float back, ride it up, take it back. And find your place, your landing pad, your lily pad. Lift your left leg up. Step it between your hands, building side angle from the floor out. Drop your back foot. Left palm to the earth, right arm up and over. So the components of a bind are balance in the legs, rotation in the shoulder joint, and an opening on the back of the triceps. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, rise up, left foot, left hand. Some of you might take the Bekasana, that little frog grip. And the frog grip is important when we're working the tangled up king variations of postures. 3, 2, 1. Untangle, meet me in a standing split. Some of you might hop up to a little handstand for 2, for 1. And then a big, massive step back, drop your knee, use your blocks, and again, a very low pelvis. So you might walk your foot in a little bit, hang your knee over the ankle joint, and then plant your blocks back by your back thigh and take your ears back. And you might immediately get a hell no. And just ask yourself, is it a hell no inside my head or inside my body? Pull it forward, half split or full split, to move into Raja Kapotasana next. So when we take a lunged pigeon, it's called Raja Kapotasana, which means king pigeon. But when we take a pigeon pose with a king bind, it's called a one-legged king pigeon. So remember, I think this is the hardest of all the binds. So as we progress, for those of you that have the foot, this one's the trickiest, I think. And then returning to a lunge, point your back toe, have your blocks high and ready. Find a block and your left hand very supported, and then bend the right knee and wrap it up. So if you're using your hand, it's the same thing, but if you have a strap, Watch my shoulder. So my hand is very tight on my knot or my foot. My elbow stays very tight to my body, and then I peel it up toward the ceiling. Nice. Maybe you catch your strap with both your hands. And if you were literally tightening this bow because you needed to shoot your dinner, be it a carrot or an animal, you better believe that bow would be tight. So tighten the bow to shoot the arrow. Release the strap. And then again, walk that left foot to the right and pull the left knee forward for a seated twist. Scoot your bottom between your heels, left hand behind the back, right elbow catches the knee and revolves the heart. Some of you might want to pick this up into an Ekapada Kundinasana B. Releasing the flight, it's a vinyasa, a headstand vinyasa, or a step back. Our beloved. So one more back bend before we take it to dancer's pose. Drop to your knees, point your toes. So obviously a key component is flexibility in the back. Take the pelvis forward, shoulder blades together, ears back. Let's take camel, Ustrasana. Anchor through your left hand, reach your right arm up, and then reach your right arm for the back wall. And then release your right arm. Lift your left arm up, reach it to the back wall. And release your hand, come all the way up. Downward facing dog, clear the posture, clear your spine. Walk your hands back to your feet. Grab a hold of your strap, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Stand up, reach up, release your arms. So first time around, let's strap it, and I'll give you the option to go strapless. If you're quite tight and you can touch your foot, crawl your hand down the strap until you have your foot with both your hands. And then once that's possible, you can do it without a strap. So on your left foot, strap the right foot. And then as the knee starts to point down, flex your foot out like a frog foot, elbow in nice and tight to the body, and then pull the elbow forward as you start to crawl down the strap and point the foot in the sky. Bellow the chest like you're doing a standing split. Lift your leg, eyes up, 3, walk down the strap, maybe catch the foot. Tighten your bow. You can't shoot an arrow if you've got a limp bow. 2, 1, hand release. So you all look awesome. The one thing that tends to happen is people's elbows are too far forward. If anything, you want your elbows behind your head. That's how tight the bow should be. Anchoring into the right foot, strap the left. Maybe you learned that you can start with a tighter grip. Elbow nice and tight. Pivot the elbow forward and crawl down the strap. So you might need to flex your toes so the strap doesn't slip. Tighten your bow, lift your back leg higher. Higher, like do the splits. Splits and dip the belly. 3, 2, 1 and release. Nicely done. Take a moment and let everything settle. Showing you what it would look like if you were doing it without a strap. Watch my grip. So here I am on my left leg. My right leg fans out to the side like a frog foot. You can catch your pinky toe or the top of the foot. It's the same thing, my elbow's in tight. My elbow stays nice and tight to my body as I flip it and rise up. You're kind of going backwards through time, remembering how you grip the foot if you're entering it down here. So strap or strapless, let's go. Strap up the right, elbow tight, lift your leg. So the leg should almost be doing the splits. It means that your knee should not be resting on a table. I need it way higher, way higher, way higher. And release the shape. Nice, Claire. I think you could catch that foot. One more time, tighter and bigger. Opposite leg, catch the foot, elbows super tight to the body, and you should basically be doing standing splits. So if your knee is parallel with the ground, it's not high enough. Beautiful cat. Walk it in tight. 3, 2, 1, and release. Samastitihi at the back of your mat. Close your eyes. What are you aware of? Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Catch your big toes. Padangustasana, lengthen. Fold forward, let the head hang. You might even close your eyes. So when we forward bend, we basically are attempting to clear out what was done in a back bend. This is the first pose of primary series. It's done after we do lots of up dogs. Inhale, lengthen. Walk yourself forward and then drop down onto your knees. Get a hold of your blocks and set them so that you could put the tops of your iliac crest, the top of your hips, on your blocks. Foam is better than cork, but you won't die. You might die. I hope you don't die. And then coming forward, take the tops of your hips and put them on your blocks. And that might be as far as you can go. Some of you might be able to bend the back legs, catch the ankles, and kick your feet into your hands. An up bow. So you'll notice it's way higher. 3, 2, 1. Release. Push back, downward dog. Get the props out of the way and lift your right leg up. Sweep it through, lower your shin for Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. So this was the first time I ever caught my foot, and I'm not saying that'll be the case for you, but I feel like you're so close to the earth that it feels the safest. So first of all, let's hang over to our right hip so we can actually feel our hip on the ground and we feel safe. Bend your back leg and catch your ankle, and let's just go frog for a moment. And for some of you, it's not going to be possible. It'll be too crazy. Great. So then this is such a big piece of the puzzle, but take your eyes to me for a moment. I'll show you without a strap and then with a strap. So my foot is frogging out to the side. I can catch my pinky toe, my 3 toes, or the top of my foot. I'm super low, and then once I have my bind, I can lift up. but same as the exit. So you go down to go up. Strap your foot, hook that little thing around your ankle, the top of your foot. Some of you don't need it though, so if you don't need it, don't use it. Froggy the foot. Keep the elbow super tight. Imagine you're holding the top of your foot, elbow in tight, roll it open. And if you can balance, both hands grabs the strap. I mean, why not? Elbows track the ears. So for those of you with really long limbs, this is your chance. This is your chance because you've got a few extra inches on people. But if you're like me and have a rod in your spine, it's a bit challenging. Release the bind super gently. And then tuck the back toes under and stretch back, down dog. Pedal it out. So number one, if you can't balance in pigeon, you might like to put a block under your bottom. But it has a lot to do with mula bandha, the pelvic floor, and pulling your thighs together. Reach your left leg up. Lower your knee to the earth and keep your foot very close to your hip. Hang over onto the left side of the body, so really feel the ground below you. And then see if you could bend that back leg and catch the foot. And then maybe you could take your little froggy pose and work your heel outside your glute. And the reason I mention this posture, we've done it a few times, is it's really the key ingredient to the bind. Beautiful. And then from here, take a hold of the strap, wrap it around your foot. You may not need it, but it is helpful so that your shoulders don't take a beating. Flex your foot. Imagine you're holding the top of the foot. So what would have to happen in the arm in order to hold the top of the foot and end up in king? And then go, pull your elbow forward and walk your hands down the strap. Yeah, it looks great. Yes! Maybe one arm. Okay, so if your arm is down, it should definitely be by your hip and your fingers should be tented. So you're utilizing the power in the arms, ears back. 3, 2, 1. Release the shape. Take your strap off and push back, downward dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, Padahastasana, thread the palms under. Inhale, lengthen, clear the spine, clear the belly, and fold. Hang your head. Shake it, yeah, shake it, no. So we learned about the kleshas. The kleshas are the places that were separate in hate and not in the moment. And one of them is dvesa, which says, I don't like that, I won't do that. And the yoga practice is going to continue to show you things that you feel that way about. And then what if a no became a maybe? What if an absolutely not became a one day maybe? Inhale, lengthen. Release the hands to the earth, take a little squat. Option to stay or crow to headstand back to crow or anything you like. So you can tip it, pick it up, maybe gently lower your brain, lift your legs. Transition back, hook the knees on the arms, lift back up. Release your feet, malasana, little squat. Since we've been working binds and you have a strap, we'll work birds of paradise at the back of our mats. Lift your bottom and thread your right arm underneath your right knee, left hand behind the back. Walk the left foot through center if you're bound. Anchor onto the left foot, stand up, birds of paradise. So we tend to enter this pose from side angle, which is a harder entry point. Nice, Shauna. Nice, Rach. Nice, Deb. And then super gently release the shape. Take a moment back in Malasana, little squat, check in, how's my breath, my face. Lift your bottom, bind around the opposite knee, right foot through center, and maybe you stand up. Yeah, own the leg in the sky. 3, whether the knee is bent or straight, gorgeous, Rosie. 2, yes, Lex. 1, slowly release, land, Malasana. Tittibasana, one more pose before we start to twist it out. You could stay in your squat, you could work crow, or thread the arms behind the legs. Sit, lift your legs up, Tittibasana. Maybe full handstand. 3, 2, yes. Back to Tittibasana if you're flying, or crow, and release your feet. Yes! Nicely done. Come forward into a plank and come all the way to your belly. Roll over onto your back. Tuck your right knee to your chest. Take a moment, roll that right hip in its hip socket. You might want to control it with the right hand. Just circles one direction, then the other. You might notice there is a click. There's a no zone. And then catch the knee with the left arm, cross it over your body. Bring the eyes through center, the body through center. Extend the right, hug your left knee in and make circles with your left hip. It's interesting, there might be little clicks, there might be some pain spots. And then hold the knee with the right arm, cross it over your body. Eyes through center, knees through center. Give yourself one more hug. And lie on your back, Shavasana. Take an inhale. One more. The greatest defense is being who you are. How often we are drawn into opposition with one another. Certainly, there are times that conflict is inevitable. There's only one parking space. There is only one donut left. There is only one job in view. But most of the time on the inner plane, there is plenty to go around, and it's more a game of seesaw. To keep myself up or to keep my sense of how I see myself up, I somehow feel the need to put others down. This only diverts me from my path and sucks all my energy into a battle that doesn't matter. In truth, no amount of rearranging the world will make us feel worthy. The only response to adversity or misunderstanding is to be more completely who we are, to share ourselves more. Otherwise, we are always reacting and countering and never being. Just look to the flowers and trees. They do not suppress each other. Even when crowded, they show themselves and grow in all directions, and so they make it to the light. Take a deep inhale. One more. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Stretch your arms long overhead, point your toes. And bring your knees in, roll to the right, and come to a seat. I hope every single one of us never gets too comfortable in the asana. They say that by the age of 35, we can operate on autopilot. We don't need any more neural pathways to fake it and pretend we're present. So that could happen in your yoga practice easily. So we want to continue to do things that are unusual or that we haven't done before in a different way. Bring your hands to your heart. And close your eyes and bow your chin to seal the practice. Lifting our eyes and our hearts to each other, thank you for your attention.